Welcome back to Freedom Watch. We've got a lot more show left. Last week, the president bragged about the U.S.-led intervention in Libya, but is there really so much to brag about? The former Libya leader, Muammar Gaddafi, is still at large, rumored to be hiding near the Algerian border, and his whereabouts aren't the only ones in question. The White House now acknowledges a Human Rights Watch report that as many as 20,000 of Libya's surface-to-air missiles have gone missing as well. Here to discuss is retired Army Colonel Douglas Macgregor. Colonel Macgregor, always a pleasure. Welcome back to Freedom Watch.
Thanks, Judge.
Are you surprised at all? Is news like this astounding or shocking that 20,000 missiles are missing? We don't know if the rebels have them. We don't know if Gaddafi has them. We don't know who has them.
No, it's not shocking at all. Look, all of these regimes, from the Atlantic Ocean to the Indian Ocean, these Muslim Arab countries, are very fragile. The authoritarian structures are the only things that preserve and maintain any semblance of order. Well, the order has been destroyed. We were anxious to rid ourselves of Gaddafi, despite the fact that the guy had been cooperating with us, and now we have chaos.
Could we actually have made things worse by unleashing 30,000 surface-to-air missiles into the hands of people who would cause us far more harm than Gaddafi ever would?
Well, sure, but we've been down this road before. We've had these experiences in Afghanistan. We've had the experience in Iraq. Once order is swept away, the vacuum is inevitably filled by people that are not friendly to the United States. In this case, you've got a mix of the Muslim Brotherhood, Al-Qaeda-like Islamists, local tribes who are fiercely Islamic. All of these people have an interest in acquiring these weapons, either for cash or potentially to use them against us or other enemies. So this was inevitable, frankly, once you destroyed order in the country. And people who say, well, we should have planned for it, what are you going to do? These are societies we really have enormous trouble penetrating. We're Westerners, Europeans and Americans. We don't understand how they work. We don't speak the language. So once you sweep away the structure of power, you inevitably get this kind of chaos.
Colonel, why were we in Libya? President claiming there were no boots on the ground because nobody got killed or because the boots weren't wearing uniform, but we now know there were and are boots on the ground. You're a career military, you're a West Point graduate, you're a PhD from the University of Virginia, you study government, you study the military. Is there some sort of a consensus in Washington that the federal government in the form of force has to be physically present anywhere on the world, that there's some sort of an international happening?
Well, Judge, you've hit the nail on the head. You're right. We've got a collection of Democrats and what I like to call rhinos who subscribe to this notion that the world will only be safe when the United States enjoys military hegemony everywhere, that somehow or another we're supposed to use military power to impose liberal democracy. And of course, you can't do that because the foundation for our institutions, our way of life, and our economic structures simply doesn't exist in most of these countries. And as a result, we have chaos. And we've created chaos in Iraq. We created chaos in Afghanistan. And all of these places are strategic disasters for us. But ideologues don't care about the facts. Facts don't matter. If you're a true believer that the United States must be everywhere to control everything because the United States is always going to be a force for good and impose liberal democracy, then that's what you do.
Perhaps the most absurd example of this today, I think, and correct me if I'm wrong, is Pakistan, where at the same time we're giving billions in American tax dollars, we're bombing them.
Well, remember that we were also instrumental in removing General Musharraf. And while General Musharraf may not have been the ideal liberal Democrat, General Musharraf was capable of holding that country together. And Pakistan is a place that's been trying to disintegrate ever since it was founded. It consists of many different ethnic groups and tribes and peoples who under normal circumstances would not live together.
Right.
He was holding it together. We got rid of him, and we're reaping the whirlwind in Pakistan as a result.
Colonel Macgregor, always a pleasure. Thanks for joining us.
Sure, Judge. Thank you.
What happens to an ad that attacks